Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we've got our AI Daily Deep Dive.
That's right. We're looking at the top AI news hitting the headlines today, June 18th, 2025.
And what's really interesting here is that this deep dive, the research, even the script generation, all done by AI.
Which is pretty meta, isn't it? Using AI to talk about AI.
Exactly. So today it feels like AI is everywhere, pushing limits, showing some cracks, and really shaking up industries. Let's dive in.
Okay.
First story. The AI talent war. It is absolutely red hot right now.
Oh, yeah. Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, was on the Uncapped podcast. And he claimed Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's company, is allegedly offering OpenAI folks huge signing bonuses.
Huge, like, how huge are we talking?
Like up to $100 million just to lure away top talent.
$100 million. That's not just recruitment. That's like a strategic attack almost.
Totally. It really shows how desperate the race is for that foundational AI knowledge and leadership.
But Altman said something interesting too, right? He said none of their top people have actually left for Meta.
Yeah, he put that down to OpenAI's culture, their mission. He seemed to think that matters more than the money, at least for their core team.
Do you buy that entirely? Or is it partly posturing?
Well, Zuckerberg's definitely serious. He's apparently reorganized Meta's HQ to put the AI team right near his office.
Right, and didn't Meta just make a massive investment?
Yes, $14.3 billion for a 49% stake in Scale AI. That looks like a very clear move towards building superintelligence, as they call it.
So Meta's spending big, reorganizing. Altman kind of dismisses their innovation record, though. Is that fair? Or is OpenAI maybe just feeling the heat?
It's hard to say definitively. Maybe a bit of both. Altman clearly thinks OpenAI has a deeper understanding, but Meta's making aggressive moves.
Okay, so from fighting over people, let's zoom out a bit. What about companies? Even the big partnerships seem stressed.
Yeah, that brings us to Microsoft and OpenAI. Big allies, obviously.
Massive alliance. Microsoft put in, what, over $10 billion?
Over $10 million, yeah, for that capped 49% share of OpenAI Global LLC's profits. It's a huge deal.
But now there's friction.
Definitely. It seems to center on OpenAI wanting to buy an AI coding startup called Windsurf for about $3 billion.
Okay.
And OpenAI is reportedly pushing back hard against Microsoft, even threatening an antitrust complaint if Microsoft demands full access to Windsurf's IP.
So OpenAI wants to keep some things separate, maintain independence?
Exactly. They're also signing computing deals with CoreWeave and Oracle, moving beyond just Microsoft infrastructure.
They're diversifying.
Right. And they've even proposed changing the deal structure, converting Microsoft's profit share into a straight 33% ownership stake in a new OpenAI structure.
More independence again. But doesn't pushing this hard risk damaging that crucial Microsoft relationship?
It's a gamble, for sure. It shows how high the stakes are when you've got this much ambition and, frankly, control colliding in these big tech partnerships.
Okay, so the humans are fighting over talent and control. What about the AI itself? Does it have limits? Especially in things like, creativity or truth.
Yeah, that's a fascinating area. Eric J. Larson wrote about this, didn't he? Why AI breaks down where human creativity begins.
Right. He talks about AI's limits with creativity and, crucially, truth.
Yes. The core problem is what some call AI hallucination or confabulation. Basically, AI making stuff up.
He had that example, the chatbot.
The Ask Martin chatbot, yeah. Modeled on the psychologist Martin Seligman. It gave pretty good advice, apparently. But then it just fabricated a detail saying Seligman worked with the Reeve Foundation, which he never did.
So it just made it up.
Exactly. And Larson's point is philosophical but important. AI works on coherence. Does this sound plausible based on all the text I've seen?
Okay.
But it doesn't work on correspondence. Does this match up with actual facts in the real world? It doesn't know truth, just pattern matching.
So it could sound perfectly reasonable, but be totally wrong.
Precisely. Which raises big questions, right? How much can we rely on it for things that really matter, like medical info or news?
Yeah, that coherence versus correspondence distinction is really stark. Which actually leads nicely into our next topic, AI in journalism.
Right. The Point to Report podcast tackled this head on. Should newsrooms embrace AI or, run screaming?
Yeah. What was the verdict?
Well, Alex Mamadivan from MediaWise had a pretty balanced take. He doesn't think AI will replace the core stuff, talking to people, telling compelling stories.
Okay, so it's more of an assistant.
Kind of. He sees it helping with the repetitive tasks, maybe freeing up journalists to do more in-depth reporting.
But there are risks. Big ones.
Huge risks, misinformation, deepfakes.
Yeah.
Generative AI makes that stuff easier than ever. That's why he stresses AI literacy for journalists is absolutely critical now.
Makes sense. They need to understand the tool and its dangers.
Yeah, and MeteorWise actually developed a toolkit with the AP and Microsoft to help newsrooms navigate all this.
Good. Okay, last story. Let's look at the market overall. Generative AI is booming, right? Especially in media and entertainment.
Oh, booming is an understatement. There's a new report out. The numbers are pretty staggering.
Lay them on me.
Okay, so the global generative AI market in media and entertainment valued at just under $2 billion in 2024.
Okay, decent size.
Projected to hit $20.7 billion by 2034.
Wow. That's more than tenfold growth in a decade. What's driving that explosion?
Mostly things like better cloud infrastructure, big demand for personalized content, and some government initiatives pushing AI adoption.
And which bits of generative AI are leading the charge?
Right now, it's things like text-to-image generation and cloud-based solutions that are dominating.
But it can't be all positive, right? Are there challenges mentioned?
Definitely. Big ones. There's a lot of regulatory uncertainty, especially around who owns AI-generated content, intellectual property issues.
Yeah, that seems like a legal minefield.
It is. And the other major hurdle is just finding enough people with the right AI skills. There's still a significant talent shortage.
So huge growth potential, but serious roadblocks too.
Exactly. Those need tackling for the market to really hit those massive projections long term.
What a whirlwind. Just looking at today's news. Talent wars, partnership drama, AI's philosophical limits, its role in news, that market explosion. The pace is just incredible.
It really is. These stories just paint a picture of such a dynamic, constantly shifting landscape. AI's impact is deep. It's across every industry, touching our daily lives in more ways every day.
Absolutely. It really makes you think. As AI keeps reshaping things so fast, what aspect of its future grabs you the most? Is it the incredible potential we see, or is it those critical challenges we just talked about? Something to chew on. Keep digging deeper.